The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council was the most important room in the known universe. At least, that is what its members believed. 12 ancient species sat in a circle of floating platforms, each one older than human civilization by thousands of years. They had watched stars die. They had seen empires rise and fall. They believed they had seen everything. Today, they would see something new. Ambassador Jack Porter stood at the center of the chamber. He was a tall man with gray eyes and a calm face. Behind him stood Commander Lisa Vance and 3 other members of the human delegation. They wore simple dark suits, no medals, no bright colors. They looked small against the massive alien figures surrounding them. Jack had practiced this speech for months. Every word had been chosen with care. This was humanity's moment. After 50 years of being watched and studied by the galactic community, they were finally allowed to ask for membership in the council. "Honored members of the Galactic Council," Jack began. His voice was steady. "Humanity comes before you today not as conquerors or beggars. We come as neighbors who wish to be friends." He touched a small device in his hand. Images appeared in the air around him. Farms, hospitals, schools, children playing in parks on distant colony worlds. "We have developed medicines that can cure diseases found on 17 different worlds. We offer to share them freely. We have created farming methods that can grow food in the soil. We offer to teach them to anyone who asks. We do not want power over others. We want to learn from you and share what we know." Jack paused and looked around the chamber. Some of the alien faces were impossible to read. Others showed clear boredom. A few showed something worse: amusement. Counselor of the leaned forward. He was an ancient creature with silver scales and eyes that had seen 10,000 years. His voice was like dry leaves rustling. "You speak of medicines and farms," said. "How charming. Tell me, human, how long has your species had faster-than-light travel?" 63 years, Jack answered. A sound moved through the chamber. It took Jack a moment to realize it was laughter. 63 years, repeated. They had faster-than-light travel before your species learned to make fire. They were building space stations when your ancestors were living in caves, and you come here asking to sit among us as equals. Jack felt Lisa tense behind him. He kept his face neutral. "We do not claim to be your equals in age or experience," Jack said carefully. "We only ask for the chance to grow alongside you, to contribute what we can." "What you can contribute," another counselor said, "is entertainment. You are children, amusing children perhaps, but children nonetheless." More laughter. Jack noticed that not everyone was laughing. Counselor of the collective was watching him with large, dark eyes. She did not smile. She did not laugh. She simply watched. Raised one clawed hand, and the laughter stopped. "The council has observed humanity for 50 of your years," he announced. "We have seen your wars, your pollution, your endless conflicts over resources and beliefs. You cannot even achieve peace among yourselves, yet you ask to join a community of civilized species." Jack wanted to argue. He wanted to point out that humanity had changed, that they had united their world, that they had learned from their mistakes, but he could see it would not matter. The decision had been made before he ever entered this room. "The petition of humanity is declared. Return in 500 years. Perhaps by then you will have matured enough to understand what membership in this council truly means." The chamber fell silent. Every eye was on Jack Porter. They expected anger. They expected pleading. They expected threats or tears or desperate arguments. Jack Porter gave them none of these things. He simply nodded, once slowly. "We understand," he said. His voice was quiet but clear. "We thank the council for their time and consideration. We will not ask again." He turned to his delegation. Lisa Vance's jaw was tight, but she said nothing. The others followed Jack's lead, keeping their faces blank. They walked toward the exit. Their footsteps echoed in the massive chamber. No one spoke. No one tried to stop them. At the door, Jack paused. He did not turn around. He simply said, loud enough for all to hear, "We wish you well." Then the humans were gone. The chamber remained silent for a long moment. Then Counselor waved one hand dismissively. "Well," he said, "that was easier than expected. I thought they would make more noise." "They accepted their place," another counselor agreed. "Perhaps there is hope for them after all. In a few centuries they may learn proper humility." The council moved on to other business. Trade disputes, border agreements, the usual matters that filled their ancient days. Only Counselor remained troubled. She had watched the human ambassador's eyes in that final moment. She had expected to see defeat, shame, perhaps hidden anger. Instead, she had seen something else, something she could not name. It was not surrender. It was not acceptance. It was something quieter and far more unsettling. It looked almost like peace, the peace of someone who had made a decision, a final decision. As the council debated grain shipments and mining rights, found herself thinking about the humans' last words. "We will not ask again." Such a simple phrase, such a quiet promise. She tried to push the thought away. Humans were young, unimportant. They would spend a few decades sulking, then return to beg for another chance. That was how young species behaved. But the look in Jack Porter's eyes stayed with her. That strange, quiet peace. 3 days later, the human delegation left Prime. Their ship departed without ceremony. No final messages, no requests for reconsideration, just silence. Watched their ship disappear into the darkness between stars. She told herself it meant nothing. Humans were infants throwing a small tantrum. They would be back. She was wrong. The silence was just beginning. 3 years passed. At first, no one noticed. The galaxy was vast and humanity was small. Their absence was like a single missing star in a sky full of millions. Easy to overlook, easy to forget. Trader noticed. He was a species known for their skill in commerce. For 15 years he had traded with humans. He bought their grain, their music, their strange and wonderful artwork. He sold them rare minerals and exotic technologies. It was good business. More than that, it had become something like friendship. Now his messages went unanswered. Sat in his ship, reading the same automated response for the 100th time. "Humanity thanks you for your past cooperation. We wish you well. This channel is no longer monitored." He tried different channels, different frequencies. He even traveled to the edge of human space, hopping to find a merchant vessel willing to talk. He found nothing. The trade stations that once welcomed visitors from all species now displayed a simple message. "Human commercial operations have been suspended indefinitely. We wish you safe travels." Returned home to find his world facing its first food shortage in 300 years. The grain ships from Earth were not coming. They were never coming again. Across the galaxy, others began to notice too. Doctor had worked at the Central Hospital on Prime for 6 years. She was one of the best human doctors in the galaxy, specializing in cross-species medicine. She had saved thousands of lives. She had trained hundreds of alien doctors. When the recall order came, she cried. Her colleagues gathered around her in confusion. They had never seen a human cry before. "You cannot leave," said Senior Healer. "The plague is spreading. You are the only one who understands the treatment." Wiped her eyes. "I have to go. All humans have been ordered to return home." "Ordered by whom? We can speak to the council. We can make an exception." Shook her head. "The council told us we were not ready, that we were children, so we are going home, all of us, everywhere." "This is madness," protested. "You are punishing innocent people because of wounded pride." Looked at him with tired eyes. "We are not punishing anyone. We are doing what we were told. We are going away until we grow up. Perhaps in 500 years we will be mature enough to help." She packed her things and left that night. The plague killed 8,000 patients over the next year. The cure had been in its medical database, but she had taken it with her. No one thought to ask for a copy before she left. Captain Ben commanded the Quiet Dawn, one of the last human merchant vessels still operating outside human space. His final mission was to close down the trading post on station, a busy hub where dozens of species came to exchange goods. The station master, a friendly named, met him at the dock. "Tell me this is not true," said. "Tell me you are not really leaving." Ben liked. They had shared drinks many times, told stories about their families, complained about paperwork and regulations. It hurt to see the fear in his friend's eyes. "I am sorry," Ben said. "Orders are orders." "But why? What have we done?" Ben was quiet for a moment. "You did nothing. This is not about you." "Then what is it about? Help me understand." Ben looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, home, a place that wanted him. "We asked to be part of something bigger," Ben said slowly. "We offered everything we had, and they laughed at us. Not you, the council. They called us children. They told us to come back in 500 years. So you are angry. I understand anger, but this is not the answer." "We are not angry," Ben said. "That is what no one understands. We are not angry. We are just done. We offered friendship and it was thrown back in our faces, so now we will keep our friendship for ourselves." The Quiet Dawn left station the next morning. Within a month, every human business on the station had closed. The markets that once sold human goods stood empty. The music halls that once played human songs fell silent. It was the same everywhere. Human teachers left alien universities. Human engineers abandoned joint projects. Human artists their work from galleries. Human diplomats closed their embassies. Not with anger, not with threats, just quiet goodbyes and empty rooms. The council received reports about the withdrawal but paid little attention. Counselor dismissed it as a tantrum that will pass. Other counselors agreed. Young species were emotional. They would calm down eventually and come crawling back. Only Counselor kept watching. She collected reports from across the galaxy. She tracked every closed embassy, every departed doctor, every silenced trade channel. And she noticed something that troubled her deeply. The humans were not suffering, they were not struggling, they were thriving. Inside their own borders, humanity was building. New colonies, new technologies, new wonders that no outsider was allowed to see. They did not need the galaxy. They had decided to make their own future. Then came the report that truly frightened her. A border station had detected a massive energy signature at the edge of human space. Something enormous was being constructed. When showed the readings to her scientific advisors, they went pale. "This is a defense grid," one of them whispered. "They are building a wall around their entire territory." "A wall to keep us out?" asked. The scientist shook his head slowly. "No, a wall that says they do not care if we exist at all." That night lay awake in her chambers, thinking about a human ambassador who had walked away in silence 3 years ago. She finally understood the look in his eyes. It was the peace of someone who had already let go. 5 years after the rejection, the Galactic Council finally decided to take humanity seriously. Scout Commander was chosen for the mission. He was one of the finest officers in the military, known for his sharp mind and careful judgment. His orders were simple: observe human space from a safe distance and report what he found. What he found changed everything he believed about the young species. Positioned his ship at the edge of human territory, careful to stay outside their borders. Even from this distance, his sensors showed him things that should have been impossible. In just 5 years, humanity had colonized 12 new worlds. 12. Most species took centuries to expand so quickly. Humans had done it in less time than it took the Council to approve a new trade agreement. But that was not the most disturbing part. Their technology had advanced at a rate that all logic, new ship designs, new energy systems, new medical breakthroughs. It was as if removing themselves from the galactic community had freed them to grow in ways no one had predicted. Intercepted their public broadcasts. He watched humans celebrating new discoveries. He saw children playing in parks on worlds that had been empty rock 5 years ago. He listened to Senator Amy give a speech about a new golden age and the benefits of focusing on our own people. They were not struggling, they were not angry, they were happy. Then turned his attention to the energy signature that had alarmed the council. What he found made his blood run cold. It was a defense network, hundreds of massive platforms arranged in a sphere around all of human space. Each platform bristled with weapons that could not identify. The power readings were enormous, far beyond anything they possessed. But these were not weapons of conquest. They pointed outward, not inward. They were designed to keep everyone else away. Humanity had built a wall around themselves, not out of fear, out of simple, final disinterest. Decided to attempt contact. He sent a standard diplomatic greeting, careful to use polite and respectful language. The response came quickly, a pleasant human voice, neither male nor female. Greetings, vessel. Humanity appreciates your visit. We are not accepting diplomatic communications at this time. Please do not approach our borders. Safe travels. Tried again. He identified himself as a representative of the Galactic Council. He requested permission to speak with any human official. Same response, same pleasant voice, same polite refusal. He tried 17 more times over 3 days. The message never changed. It was not rude. It was not hostile. It was simply final. On the 4th day, returned to Prime and requested an emergency meeting with the council. He stood in the same chamber where Jack Porter had stood 5 years earlier. The counselors looked at him with the same bored expressions they had shown the human ambassador. "Well," counselor asked, "what did you find? Have they collapsed yet?" Took a deep breath. "No, counselor, they have not collapsed, they have flourished." He activated his display. Images filled the chamber, human cities gleaming under alien suns, ships of designs no one had seen before, the massive defense platforms hanging in the darkness of space. The counselors leaned forward. Some of them looked confused, others looked frightened. "This is impossible," one counselor said. "They are infants. They cannot have built this in 5 years." "They have," said. "I saw it myself, and there is something else you need to understand." He paused, making sure every counselor was listening. "They are not hiding in shame. They have not withdrawn because they feel inferior. They have withdrawn because they have decided we do not matter to them. They are building a future that does not include us, not out of anger, out of indifference." The chamber erupted. Counselors shouted at each other. Some demanded that a fleet be sent to force the humans to open their borders. Others argued that humanity had every right to isolate themselves. The representatives insisted this was all a bluff designed to gain sympathy. Counselor sat quietly through the chaos. When the shouting finally died down, she spoke. "Commander, what do you believe humanity wants?" Thought carefully before answering. "I believe they want nothing from us, and that is the most dangerous thing of all." The council debated for 3 more days. In the end, they decided to wait. Surely humanity could not sustain this isolation forever. Surely they would need something from the greater galaxy eventually. Time would bring them back. But while the council waited, the galaxy began to suffer. Without human mediators, old rivalries between species flared into open conflict. The Enda went to war over a disputed trade route. Thousands died in battles that humans had once prevented with patient diplomacy. Without human agricultural science, 2 colony worlds faced ecological collapse. Their soil had been damaged by centuries of poor farming, and only human techniques could have restored it. And on the A plague was spreading. The same plague that doctor had known how to treat. The cure existed somewhere in human medical databases, but no one could reach it. Healer watched his patients die one by one. He sent message after message to human space, begging for help. The response was always the same, that pleasant voice, that polite refusal. Humanity thanks you for your message. We wish you well. Read those words through tears. He had never met a human. He had never done anything to offend them. But now his people were dying because of choices made by the council years before he was born. He was learning a hard lesson. The galaxy was learning it too. Sometimes the worst punishment was not war. It was not revenge. It was simply being forgotten. Humanity had moved on, and they had taken so much with them. 8 years after the rejection, Counselor did something he had never done before in his 10,000 years of life. He went to ask a lesser species for help. His shuttle crossed into the neutral zone at the edge of human space. The defense platforms watched him with weapons that could destroy his vessel in an instant. He sent a request for communication, using every diplomatic code he knew. For 6 hours nothing happened, sat in his shuttle and waited. He had never waited for anyone. They were the eldest of the council races. Others waited for them. But today waited. Finally, activated. A human face appeared. The man was middle-aged with brown hair and tired eyes. He wore a simple uniform with no medals or decorations. "I am Governor Cole," the man said. "I administer the border colony of New Haven. The defense network tells me you wish to speak. You have 5 minutes." Was not used to being given time limits. He pushed down his pride and spoke quickly. "I am counselor of the. I speak with the full authority of the Galactic Council. We demand that humanity end this isolation and return to the galactic community." Governor Cole's expression did not change. "You demand. The galaxy needs you. Species are dying. Wars are spreading. Your absence has created chaos." "I see, and this is our responsibility because..." Felt his scales flush with frustration. "Because you have the power to help. Your medicines could save millions. Your diplomats could end conflicts. Your technology could prevent disasters." "You told us we were infants," Cole said calmly. "Infants cannot do those things." "That was a mistake. We see that now. We are willing to reconsider your membership petition." "We that petition 8 years ago. We are not interested in resubmitting it." Leaned forward. "Then what do you want? Name your price, territory, resources, technology. The council will negotiate." Governor Cole looked at him for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was quiet. "You still do not understand. We do not want anything from you. 8 years ago we came to you with open hands. We offered friendship. We offered partnership. We offered everything we had, and you laughed at us. We were wrong." "Yes, you were, but that does not change what happened. You did not just refuse us. You humiliated us. You told us we were children playing at civilization. You told us to come back in 500 years. So this is revenge." Cole shook his head slowly. "No, revenge would mean we still cared. We do not. We took your advice. We went home, we focused on ourselves, and we discovered something wonderful." "What?" "We do not need you. We never did. We wanted to be part of something bigger, but we did not need it. And now that we have built our own future, we have no desire to return to a community that despised us." Felt something he had not experienced in centuries. Fear. Not of human weapons or human anger, fear of their indifference. "People are dying," he said. "Does that mean nothing to you?" Cole's eyes hardened. "It means everything to us. Do you know how many humans died while we were trying to help the galaxy? Our doctors caught alien diseases. Our mediators were killed in conflicts they were trying to stop. Our traders were cheated and robbed. We gave and gave and gave, and in return we were called infants. We can make amends." "You can, but not to us. Make amends to the species who are suffering. Share your own knowledge. Solve your own problems. You have thousands of years of wisdom. Use it." Was silent for a moment. Then he tried one last approach. "There is a plague on the millions will die. You have the cure." "We do. Will you share it?" Cole's expression finally changed. Something sad moved across his face. "They did nothing wrong. They were kind to our traders. They welcomed our people. I wish we could help them." "Then help them." "I cannot. The decision was made by people far above my position. Humanity has chosen to withdraw from galactic affairs completely. No exceptions. No special cases. If we help we will be asked to help others, and then others. And soon we will be back where we started, giving everything and receiving mockery in return." Stared at the human. "You would let millions die to make a point." "We would let millions die because the alternative is returning to a community that has shown us only contempt. We offered help freely once. It was thrown back in our faces. We will not offer again." The went dark. Sat alone in his shuttle, surrounded by the cold light of distant stars. He had come expecting to negotiate. He had come expecting to find humans eager to return, desperate for acceptance. Instead, he had found something he could not bargain with, could not threaten, could not bribe. He had found peace. The humans were at peace with their choice. They had closed a door and walked away, and no amount of pleading would bring them back. The shuttle turned and began the long journey home. Behind, the defense platforms watched in silence. Back on Prime, Counselor received the report of failure. She read it 3 times, looking for some hope, some opening. There was none. That night she made a decision. The Council had failed, demands had failed, diplomacy had failed. There was only one thing left to try. Honesty. She would go to human space herself, not as a counselor, not as a representative of anyone, just as one person who had watched in silence 8 years ago and done nothing. She would go to apologize. Counselor's shuttle was small and old. It had no weapons, no shields, no diplomatic markings. She had chosen it on purpose. She did not want to approach humanity as a representative of power. She wanted to approach them as what she truly was. A single person who had made a mistake. The journey to human space took 11 days. She spent most of that time thinking about what she would say. Every version sounded wrong, too formal, too calculating, too much like another diplomatic trick. In the end, she decided to simply tell the truth. Her shuttle reached the edge of human space on a quiet morning. The defense platforms detected her immediately. She felt their weapons lock onto her tiny ship. One shot would turn her into dust. She opened a communication channel and spoke. I do not speak for the Council. I do not speak for my species. I speak only for myself." She paused. Her hearts were beating fast. 9 years ago, I sat in the Grand Chamber and watched your ambassador present humanity's petition. I watched my colleagues laugh at him. I watched them call your species infants and children. And I did nothing. I said nothing. I was a coward and I am sorry. Silence. The weapons remained locked. I do not ask for forgiveness. I do not ask for anything. I came only to say what I should have said 9 years ago. Your people deserved better. You deserved respect and consideration. Instead, you received mockery. I cannot undo what was done. I can only tell you that I know it was wrong. More silence. Closed her eyes and waited. If this was how she died, at least she had finally spoken the truth. Then a human voice came through her speakers, not the automated message, a real voice, male, tired. "Please hold your position, Counselor. A ship is being sent to meet you." Waited for 2 hours. Finally, a small human vessel approached. It docked with her shuttle and an airlock hissed open. A man stepped through. He was older than she expected, with gray hair at his temples and lines around his eyes, but she recognized him immediately. 9 years had changed him, but she knew that face. Ambassador Jack Porter. He sat down across from her in her tiny cabin. He did not speak, he simply waited. Had practiced this moment 1,000 times. Now that it was here, all her careful words disappeared. "I remember your eyes," she said softly. "When you walked out of the chamber, everyone expected you to be angry or sad, but you were not. You looked peaceful. I did not understand it then." Jack nodded slowly. I had already made my decision. The council's answer did not matter anymore. "You knew you would never come back." "I knew we would never ask again. Whether we came back was up to others." Looked down at her hands. They were trembling. "I should have spoken," she said. "When called you infants, I should have objected. I disagreed with him. I thought you deserved a chance, but I was afraid. I did not want to go against the council, so I stayed silent." "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because people are dying. There is a plague on the wars are spreading. The galaxy is falling apart without you, but that is not why I came." "Then why?" Looked up at him. "I came because the truth matters, even if it changes nothing, even if you turn me away. I needed you to know that not everyone in that chamber was laughing. Someone saw what was happening and knew it was wrong. I was just too weak to say it." Jack was quiet for a long time, could not read his expression. "Governor Cole told Counselor that we want nothing from the galaxy," Jack finally said. "That is true. We have built a good life for ourselves. We do not need acceptance from the council." "I understand." "But," Jack paused, "we did not withdraw because we hate the galaxy. Because we were tired of being despised while we tried to help. Because our kindness was seen as weakness." Nodded, she understood. "You came alone," Jack said. "No ships, no guards, no demands, just an apology. It was all I had to offer." "You have something else." Jack looked at her carefully. "You have a choice. You could have stayed safe on Prime. You could have let the council handle this. Instead, you came here knowing we might kill you. Why?" Reached into her robe and pulled out a small data chip. She placed it on the table between them. "This contains everything the know. Medicine, science, history, art. Thousands of years of knowledge. I am giving it to you with no conditions. It is not a bribe, it is not a trick, it is a gift." Jack did not touch the chip. "Why?" "Because it is right. Because you gave us so much, and we gave you nothing but contempt. Because I cannot change the past, but I can try to be better in the future." Silence filled the cabin, waited for Jack to refuse, to tell her that gifts meant nothing, to send her away. Instead, something changed in his face. The careful blankness softened. His eyes grew warm. An ambassador, Jack Porter smiled. It was the first time a human had smiled at an alien in 9 years. "Do you know why I agreed to meet you?" he asked. "No." "Because you did not ask for anything. Everyone else who has contacted us wanted something. Help with a plague, an end to a war, access to our technology. You are the first person who came just to say sorry." He picked up the data chip. "I cannot promise anything. The decision to re-engage with the galaxy is not mine to make. But I can promise you this. Your words will be heard. Your gift will be remembered." 3 weeks later, a small human medical ship crossed into space. Then another. Then a dozen more. They brought the cure for the plague. They asked for nothing in return. When the government tried to thank them, the humans simply said, "Someone reminded us who we wanted to be." Humanity did not rejoin the council. They did not open their borders. They did not forget the insults they had received. But they began to help again, quietly, carefully, one world at a time. It was not forgiveness. It was not surrender. It was something new. A second chance that had been earned not by power or wealth, but by the simplest and rarest of gifts. A single honest apology. The galaxy would never be the same as it was before. The old relationship was gone forever, but something new was growing in its place. Something built not on demand and obligation, but on respect and choice. And it had all started with one person who found the courage to say the words that mattered. I was wrong, I am sorry. Sometimes that is enough.